This is the Toor Knives Willow in a Kydex sheath with a tech lock on the back. This is not my first Toor knives. I've had actually a handful of them. I really enjoyed what I've had in the past, but this is actually my first skeletonized style knife from them, and it did not let down. This is a really neat skinning, backcountry, and also tactical style knife. It's going to fit a few categories, a few point of uses pretty well. What you're looking at is a blade made in the USA, and it's in CPM 154. So if you've never used 154, it's a decent resilient steel. This one happens to have a slight coating to it, and it also has a really high quality sheath. These sheaths are different. These are unique. I'm going to play some B-roll while I'm just talking about different things, but the first thing I want to tell you about is the sheath. The sheath in most of the Toor knives I've ever seen have this fabric felt inside, and I feel like they're the only company I've seen do it this way. When you put in a knife and you take it out, it's completely silent, incredibly quiet. So whether you had some sort of stealth operation for hunting or for tactical things, you guys who operate overseas, maybe something like this would be interesting to you, because the knife itself is totally quiet in and out of the sheath. I mean, my folding knife is louder than this because of the action and the clicking into place, but this in and out is as quiet as I want it to be. Maybe I can scrape the top and make a little sound, but otherwise in and out, totally quiet because of that felt. It also helps a little bit with the fit. The fitment is really good because the blade is actually kind of, smudged against that felt. Over time, it'll only loosen up a little bit, not much at all. Actually, in my experience, it stays pretty tight in there. Something cool about the Toor knives sheaths that I've found, most of the sheaths that I even see on the internet, is they have a healthy relief cut into the sheath. They still have good retention, but because of that, when I go to grab it, whether it's on a backpack, on a belt, whether I'm mounting it horizontally or vertically, it doesn't really matter how I'm carrying the sheath. I can get a good purchase that I don't need to reposition my hand for. That's really important to me. I hate when I have a sheath that, even if it has great retention and it sounds good and feels good, if I grab the knife but only a certain amount is exposed, I pull the knife out, and then I gotta grab and reposition a little bit. When it comes to a tactical knife especially, I can imagine for people who are operators and have tactical considerations in their mind, they do not want a knife that they can't just grab and go to work with. And so whether this was on a plate carrier and I was grabbing it in one position or another, it's just something you might want to consider about the sheath, is it is unique and it has some features you're not going to find on other sheaths. As far as sheath options go, you don't have to do a tech lock. They have lots of in the waistband style options. All right, let me talk you through real quickly just some of the mounting options you can get for that sheath. You can do an inside the waistband clip, looks like a piece of Kydex, which is really useful. You can do a dots molly mount. You can do an Ulti-Clip XL. I do recommend that. You can get like a what do you call it? Tech lock, like a modern tech lock, ultimate belt attachment, and Ulti-Clip Slim 3.3. Depending on your use case and where you're mounting this, that might be a really good option too. You guys with plate carriers might appreciate that one. You're looking at an overall length on this blade of 8.125 inches. It's actually really not hard to carry on the belt line and not draw attention to itself. It's pretty easy to carry, not just because it's slim, not just because it's lightweight. Actually, 8 inches is not that hard to put away, especially for a big guy like me. Blade length is 3.75 inches. Handle length is 4.475 inches. And that's what I'm talking about, is it's comfortable. Even if you have XL size hands like I do, you're not going to struggle with this. There's plenty of real estate on that blade. You have G10 over the steel, that full tang construction. Those are G10 with Torx mounting it down. I've never had one of these come loose. And here's what's impressive. They are getting this to a hardness of around 61 HRC with that 154 CPM steel. The weight, 2.5 ounces. And I'm wearing a tech lock right now because hunting considerations coming up soon. If I use this for hunting, I don't mind having it on the exterior of my belt. Hi. You can get in front of the camera? Perfect. Hi. You can get right in the way. Oh, that's the best. Yeah, get right in the way. Okay, for my use case, like I said, it's going to be mostly hunting and backcountry adventure. When it comes to a backcountry adventure or hunting blade, a hunting blade may not require a full tang build, but I need it to be cleanable and easy to clean out and lightweight. Those would be some hunting considerations. I really don't like, even small game hunting, I don't like carrying heavy blades for small game hunting. I want it light, nimble, not overly long, but pretty acute blades that just easy to brush off, clean off, get the guts off with a rig if I need to in a stream, which I did last week, and then just back in the sheath. This blade has that ready to go for it. So I have skeletonized handles, but the handles are really well machined. Like they meet up well. I don't have gaps in the material inside. Hopefully you can see that. It's really tight. It's made really tight. So I can get inside here and clean it out really well. It's even just brushing it in the stream gets all that junk out. But I still have the full tank strength because I need it as a backcountry blade. I'm probably not going to bring several blades with me if I'm going hunting and I need to stay somewhat ultralight. I have one or two. And so I might carry this and an EDC style or a folder, something like that. And that would be the blade that does the majority of the work on the trip, would be the belt knife, actually. I need it to be full tang for most of the applications I have, just so I can rely on it. It's not that I'm going to be prying on this so much, but I might baton with it a little bit. And I just can't, intellectually. In my mind, guys, I just really struggle with the idea of carrying a partial tang or a hidden tang or stick tang blade, even if they're real pretty knives, because I've had them fail. I've had handles swell, I've had handles shrink. I'm in Minnesota and the weather considerations are just a nightmare here. Today is like 102 with a real feel. It's terrible. It's so hot. But in the fall and the winter time, in the wintertime we're terribly cold. This, with the bolted on handle scales, gives me the ergonomics, the texture, the feel, and that full tang that I know I can just trust it. It's going to stay together. It's not going to fall apart on me. And whether I'm wearing gloves or I'm barehanded, it just fits really good for the application. So as much as I like some of those stylish, kind of old school hunting blades that we all grew up with, when it comes to a backcountry blade, I need reliability. Reliability's the king. It's going to be above everything. And then after that, then I'm going to be a little more particular about the design. Maybe the length of the blade is a real big deal to me after that. The utility of the edge. I can modify things and make them my own just fine. But this one, the way it comes from the factory, is nice and thin. This thing is slicey. It has a taper from the spine down here. It's already a nice thin edge. You've got that good functional jimping, not painful, just functional jimping. And it comes down to a very acute point there. I think it's going to do really well, whether it's getting into a gut cavity on a rabbit, let's say, and to get in there, and then I can follow it along really easily. I'm not worried about over penetration with this, and it's not so long that I've got a lot of extra real estate to be worried about or careful about. I've got tennis elbow right now, so my carving capability isn't very strong, which means instead of relying on big muscle movements and like chest lever cuts, if I'm doing a little bit of whittling, I need to do a lot of thumb work. And so having a spine that's comfortable enough to do a little bit of heavy pressing into hard plastic, zip ties, or wood for carving, feather sticks, perhaps notch making, I just need to have something that's functional, and this doesn't bother me at all. It's enough length I can get behind it. It's sharp enough to strike a feather or a fire rod, like a ferro rod. Just fine with that sort of thing. I usually take a rock and rough up part of the spine anyways. Like I'll take a rock out of the stream, rough up the spine, and then strike the ferro rod. But I don't have any concerns with that at all. When it comes to touching this blade up in maintenance, got a sharpening trail here, so it's easy for me to get at this and make it sharp all the way up. That being said, I have not reprofiled this knife yet. I've only touched it up on the strop and a piece of ceramic, actually, now I think of it, around ceramic, and it comes right back. 154 CPM, 154 has been, pretty, I would say, it's a step above. It's definitely a step above, like, the VG10s that I've used in the past for hunting blades, and I've had SK5 hunting blades. I've had some 440C hunting blades. It's better. it's definitely better. It's more resilient. I think it holds an edge better. And the temperament that they're giving these is relatively hard, which means, I want to be careful not to chip it out. I want to be smart about it in the winter. But it has a decent toughness and it has good edge holding, which when you're talking about a hunting blade, just think about after you've skun up a full deer, you have to touch it up halfway through. You got to touch that edge up with either a sharpener or a honer or something like that. Doesn't matter what kind of steel it is, it will dull out a knife. And I would rather have something that has a good hardness like this rather than just ease of sharpening every 5 minutes. All right, that's all I have for you guys. Again, this is a 2.5 ounce backcountry blade. That's one of the reasons I can really get behind it. And additionally, that it's a great steel. It is a very good design, not just because it's lightweight and thin and slicey and all that. I mean, it's American made. You're supporting American jobs. I got to hang out with some of the Toor Knives team at 2026 SHOT Show. That's cool that they're a good team. They're people that I would definitely spend time with. Aside from that, the designs make sense. They've got some great ideas going, and I want them to do well. And so I have just unabashedly been able to say, go ahead and get one of these. Highly suggested, a brand worth supporting. They're going to be around. They're not going anywhere, and the aftermarket support is going to be great for these blades. So check them out if you haven't checked them out on Instagram, on YouTube, anywhere else, and head over to their website right now, because if this isn't exactly what you're looking for, I bet they have something else for you.